Spider's back!
Spider, spider, here comes Spider, CFL, red zone,
Hit it! In the red zone. Close. How you doing? Spider's back. Okay, gonna do a recap on
in the red zone.
in the red zone. I love that. Yeah, the CFL 2021 East and West finals. Okay, we're gonna go over that and some other goodies. How you guys been? There was a Mr. His name was McGee. I wonder if it's the same guy when I surveyed at St. Mary's Huskies Acadia game when he had a son playing on one of those teams, and I did a survey and I introduced him to my CFL Red Zone rule. I wonder if it's the same gentleman. I think it's Mark. I think it was Mark, yeah, McGee. I'm not sure, but I have to check it because he gave me his name, and there was another former CFL player too. Both played for the Ottawa Rough Riders, by the way. Anyway, they were blown away by my rule, and there was a Winnipeg younger generation Blue Bomber fan there that was going to St. Mary's, and he said, "Can I listen in?" And he said, "Spiders, that's the perfect injection that the CFL needs." And he says, "I hope they adopt your rule. He said it's just phenomenal. It's so big. He said it's too big of a rule for them not to adopt." He was just really, he was just, you know, fascinated by it, really. Like all the 500 people I interviewed, and Steve Armitage, okay? And I got an email I want to read to you that Mr. Vanstone, I sent him one, he sent back to me actually too. Very, very interesting. I'm going to read that. So I got a lot on the agenda. First I'm going to get into the importance of our CFL three-down game of football versus the NFL game. Because I'll tell you, after I watched the Eastern Final and the Argonauts, it's too bad for that foolishness that went on. I saw a video last night on it, and it was really bad. And you know, there was Helm and Tiger Cat fans. They were really liquored up, and they were fighting, approaching. Not only what they were throwing debris on the Argonaut players, and using all kinds of profanities and everything. And it was just brutal, and really nasty stuff they were saying. No wonder it provoked them, you know, and you know, in defending themselves and in the fights with them. Seriously, I mean, and then there was a clip last night, a 2-minute clip or so on YouTube, showing like, and the Cat fans that were all liquored up, they pushed the barriers away to go after the Argonaut players too, and then outside. They were approaching Argonaut fans and punching them in the mouth, and one guy kicked the Argonaut fan in the face. And what is the CFL going to cover this all that? I mean, I like you, Ping Ball Clemens. You're good. I like you. You know that. I met you several times, but you can't cover this up. And the owners of the organization too, Maple Leafs and Sports Entertainment. You've got to do something about this. This can't be just, you know, swept under the rug. It is really bad. And I don't care what two teams are playing and what kind of rivalry. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's just give CFL a really black eye, you know, really. And there were two really good games, you know, really and truly. Except for the, you know, first two drives of the Argonauts to get down the red zone. They were actually inside the 5, I believe they were on the 1, the first one, and on the 2-yard, the second one, kicked like little 10-yard field goals, or it was brutal, you know, non-eventful, you know, boring, predictable, easy chip shot field goals. When the fans were booing, it was brutal. But that's why I sent an email to Mr. Vanstone that I want to read you. Just in a few minutes, I'm going to read it, okay, to you. But let's get back to the games themselves, okay? In Toronto, they had 5 field goals for their 16 points and 1 single point. I think it went through. I don't know how they got that single point. I think, yeah, he conceded in the end zone, so didn't run it out. But 5 field goals times 3. Can you imagine? How does that sell? Not a touchdown. How does that sell CFL 3-down football? But with my CFL red zone rule, Argonauts would have scored a touchdown. They probably would have won that game. It would have been even a much better, even a better game than it was. More entertaining, way more entertaining. My CFL red zone rule makes our CFL 3-down game way more entertaining, way more exciting than the current brand. It's unquestionable too. I mean, it's undeniable. It will, and I have 10 super features and benefits that prove it. I have stunning numbers that prove it. It's all in my presentation, by the way. That's back up on the Facebook page, right? My SPYDER CFL Red Zone Rule Facebook page. But back to the game, the Eastern Final. It's too bad what happened after the game, but the game, I mean, they changed out the quarterback. The Evans came in, took Mazzoli out, and wow! And he threw a pass that Ticat, a receiver, dropped the ball after the catch, and the Argonauts ran it down. This was the end of the first half, very close, and they could have probably might have scored or get a field goal, 3 points, and the kids only lost by 4, I believe. I think it was 21-17, I believe, or that was that the Western Final game. I think that was the Western Final game. But there were similar scores. But anyway, so the Tiger Cats, Evans quarterback ran down and knocked the ball loose and he got the ball back. And the Argonauts were down, like getting close to the red zone. It was crazy. I think they were around the 30. I'm not sure. I'd have to play it back and look, but unbelievable. But anyway, could have been a lot better game with my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule, that's for sure. But not a touchdown by the Argonauts, but Evans did amazing. He put on, you know, he played CFL 3-down football. He was throwing the ball, you know, and they scored touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, it was a great game. I think it was 2 touchdowns. I have to check. You'd have to go back and check all the stats on this to be totally accurate, but I'm just improvising here. And, you know, but I think that was, you know, I think they scored at least 2 touchdowns. I believe it was 2. But anyway, Cats won, you know. They went at home against the Alouettes. That wasn't too hard, actually. But against the Argonauts, it was tougher. And they, you know, earned their ticket to their own Grey Cup. Can you imagine that? In their own backyard. Scaled down Grey Cup. 25,000. They added another 500 for standing room, and I think the Twisted Tea Social and so forth. It's too bad they couldn't have full scale like they had planned. And then, you know, they have 12 events scheduled, and it would have been almost triple that, I think. You know, if it was a regular CFL Grey Cup, and they were going to expand it to 32 or 33,000. If you ever saw the layout of what the Hamilton Tiger Cat we're going to do, Bob Young, with the Grey Cup, this Grey Cup, before this pandemic hit, the China virus, you know, was inflicted on us. It was quite impressive indeed. So it's basically, I hope they better too, because the BMO Field, when they had the Grey Cup, they had the Grey Cup logo at center, but because of soccer or whatever, and the season was over, I believe. I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't, but they wouldn't put the logos of each team in the end zones. That should be in every CFL, regular CFL game should have their logo at center field and in the end zones. Come on, and the CFL, go back to the old logo here, CFL logo here, this one here, rather than the one that's current. That's way more colorful. Go back to that logo, the CFL. Put it on the field. You'll be able to see it. You can't see the other one if it's put on the field or in the end zone or anywhere on the field. But they got to do much better in marketing. I mean, they're using graphics, you know, to do it. Can you imagine that? It's sensationalized. It's even worse than that. It's simulated. It's just, it's brutal. You can't do that. And by doing that, this shows you how it's needed. You know, the NFL doesn't do that. They put their logos in the end zones and their team logo and the NFL logo too on the field too. They really dress it up, and that's the way it should be. You shouldn't have blank end zones, especially with the CFL end zones to twice the size, even they're even more than twice the size. There's a 65 wide versus 53, 20 deep versus 10. So, I mean, you could dress that up, man. You could have CFL logos on each side, a colorful new CFL logo, actually a facsimile of this one, okay? And then the home field logo, okay, in each ends, I mean, and at center field. And if there is like Tim Hortons Fields to it too, they have a sponsor, Tim Hortons, that they put beside their Tiger Cat logo. I mean, and in Winnipeg, it's brutal. They don't do that. IG, whatever it's called, I don't even know what it is anymore. in Winnipeg. Anyway, the Winnipeg team logo got to be at center, and it's in one end zone, got to be in both end zones, on University of Manitoba. But anyway, put the Winnipeg logo at center field, okay? They used to, when the CFL was supposed to take over the playoffs before the Grey Cup, they used to have their logo at center field. But anyway, I hope the Grey Cup, Bob Young, I hope you're not like BMO Field when they did the Grey Cup. Put the Tiger Cats, see I got the logos out here, the Tiger Cats and the Bombers, there's your hats, okay? Put the logos in each end zone and hopefully the Grey Cup logo at center. I know you got soccer games coming up, but one I think in January, actually Team Canada against US, that'd be awesome. But you can wash that all off. I mean, come on. We got to get with the program here, you know? You know, stop playing second rate and be aggressive and marketing and branding of your product and your logos, team logos, and the CFL logo and the Grey Cup logo. You know, dress it up. Make it, because it's scaled down to 25,000. That's what standing room. They added 500 more standing. I think I said that. But anyway, as far as the game, let's go over the Saskatchewan Roughrider Western Final and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in Winnipeg. Best team in the CFL this year. Grey Cup, defending Grey Cup champions. Quite a game. Quite a game. I think that score was 21-17, I believe. But because, you know, if Lawler wouldn't have missed, he says he's the best field goal in the CFL, he wouldn't have missed the field goal. They could have they would have been down 1 point, they could have went for a field goal rather than try to pass a pass to a Canadian racial player that came in, picked, and then standing on the sidelines. And I thought they should give it the PAL. They just needed 3 yards, but they would have won it with a field goal. Lothar would have meant the 33-yard field goal. But anyway, they had 6 turnovers. Can you imagine this? 6 turnovers. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the defending Grey Cup champions. Right? It's unbelievable. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? A 14-game season, I think they're 11-3 in the season, I believe. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You think about that, 6 turnovers by the Saskatchewan Roughriders that weren't supposed to have a chance. I didn't believe that. It's unbelievable. Saskatchewan could have easily won that game. There's no way you lose. Same with the Stampeders. They had 4 turnovers, but they gave up the ball too. 2 interceptions, 2 Saskatchewan. I think it was 5, I believe, that they had. 4 or 5, anyway. Saskatchewan had, Stampeders should have won. You have 5 turns, they should have won. There was 6 in Winnipeg. Saskatchewan should have won. Calgary should have won. Calgary should, Stampeders in the semifinals, Saskatchewan. You have that many turnovers by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Calgary should have won. I think there were 4 or 5. In Winnipeg, there were 6 turnovers by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Saskatchewan Roughriders should have won. Calgary Stampeders may have beaten Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Just based on that alone, where Winnipeg had 6 turnovers, and Calgary had 4 or 5 against 4 or 5 interceptions against Saskatchewan in the semifinals. So Calgary Stampeders could easily be going to the Grey Cup against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It's unbelievable. But anyway, getting back to the game, the Western Final, it was freezing cold there, and the field wasn't that great. There was snow on it. It looked like it was frozen the first half. Then the wind died down. It was still freezing. I think wind chill was like -20. But they cleaned the field with this raking mechanism they have. It looked pretty good. And the field looked great. And it was a great game, both games, but the Western Final was even better. It was a phenomenal game. And let me tell you something. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are an amazing team in a way, because they have that many turnovers, 6, and still win. Like, it's unbelievable. But you know what? Harris has been protected by the CFL when he was juiced up and caught. I don't know how someone in that kind of weather, that cold, that hasn't played for, I don't know how many games, 6 games or something. I don't know. He's been off for quite a long time with an injury, and he comes back. He has all this energy. He doesn't get tired in this freezing cold weather. I don't get it. Like someone was saying to me, he's got to be still juiced up. And if he is, it's not good. He should be tested. Bob Young and the Tiger Cats should be telling the CFL and the commissioner, you have to test this guy. Because I'm telling you, I've never seen, how can you have that kind of energy? Like, I mean, like, and he masked it before, and they don't test enough and so forth. But, you know, I'm telling you, that's, and you know, I'm sorry, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You know, like, I'm not saying, I'm glad you won the Grey Cup, but there was a lot of talk about that, him being juiced up and still being juiced up, and still talk about him still being juiced up, playing, and that's illegal. Like, you know, he shouldn't be allowed to play. He should be tested. He should be thrown out. You know, but that's my opinion. I don't. Jackson for Hamilton. Just getting back to the Hamilton Toronto game. He used to be running back for Calgary. He was amazing. He's not juiced up. He's just amazing. And Poppy White. I think that's his name. Poppy White. I think, yeah, that return, what was it, 85 or 92-yard return for, like, punt return for a field goal against the Argonauts. That's what won the game, really. And Evans played great when he came in relief. I mean, he played great. So, anyway, you know, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I mean, without Harris, the way he played, and whether or not he's in drugs or not, but it looked pretty fishy to me. That's why they won the game. And if they won the game because he's juiced up, that's not good. But Winnipeg Blue Bombers, look, I like your fans. You know, you guys are good guys, and you're very polite. You don't cause that kind of ruckus. I mean, what happened in Toronto with Tiger Cat fans like that was disgraceful. But I saw you interviewed outside. It was on YouTube. By a local TV station, and everybody was like, they weren't all liquored all up or anything. I'm sure they had a few, but they were very polite, very, you know, respectful. It was quite a few of them interviewed too, and they were all like, they weren't all out of it, you know, like, you know, trying to fight with Saskatchewan Rough Rider fans or whatever. No. Or you know, or Winnipeg or Saskatchewan even, they weren't doing that to Winnipeg Blue Bomber players or fans or anything. Saskatchewan fans that were there, but there was like way more because of all these restrictions and so, like mandates and double vaccinate. There weren't a lot of Saskatchewan Rough Riders. The whole thing was pretty well all Winnipeg Blue Bombers. There's 31,000. There was 21,000 in Toronto, and half in Toronto in the Eastern Final were Hamilton Tiger Cat fans, about 50-50, which was unbelievable atmosphere for both games. And then I just want to give a bit of a contrast. I want to, you know, after the Western and Eastern Final, I kept sports. You know, they should have had at TSN. They should have had the press conferences they did with the players. They didn't do anything. They brought up all this NFL stuff on, showing like Brady making, I think on the 2-yard line, making the 3-yard interception pass for a touchdown for the other team. I don't know who they were playing. I forget. The Bucks were playing, but anyway, I don't watch the NFL, but I saw the highlights, and I looked at the little field. They were showing all the highlights again, and I'm telling you something right now. CFL, our game of football, 3-down football, and by the way, my SPYDER CFL Red Zone will be a way better product than it is. But right now, currently, with the format they have, played with the 4 best teams in the okay, going down the stretch in the East and West Finals, CFL 2021 East and West Finals. There's no comparison. And our game's played at a high level, and it's played well, and it's competitive, it's exciting. And even with all the turnovers, There's some turnoffs too. You know, like Toronto in the red zone on the 2-yard line kicking an easy chip shot twice. But anyway, it's a way better game. It's like blows the NFL. You imagine NFL out of the water. I mean, they look brutal. I mean, that little outdoor arena, I just call NFL outdoor arena football. And that field, NFL outdoor arena field football, 4-down football. That's what it is. It's unbelievable with that little field, with that little 10-yard end zone, with 53 width, with 100, only 100 in length. No, our format, our length of field, I don't even mind the 20 yards. I think 15 would be a little better because Toronto's 17, so maybe go to 15. Keep the 65, seriously. Don't make it 60. I thought maybe 60, but keep the 65 if you go to 15. You know, or you could even go to 70 in an odd number. Who cares? But I think a little less than 20, but I don't mind the 20, you know? Don't mind the 20 at all. I can live with the 20. You know, it makes for a bigger pass for a touchdown, right? But anyway, I mean, the NFL highlights looked brutal compared with our game, seriously, which was way, way better. Played in the East and Western final. Like there was, and with my CFL Red Zone rule, if that would be made part of our game, it would have been implemented in the East and West final 2021. Let's hope for the 2022, where it's going to be presented to the CFL Innovation Rules Committee. That would make our CFL 3-down game way better, way more appealing, way more exciting, way more innovative, and full of drama. And the entertainment value would be just like over the top. It would be unbelievable how it increase the entertainment value of CFL 3-down game, and at the same time, remarkably, okay, still preserve our 3-down game of football. Because with my CFL Red Zone rule being an enforcement rule, with the attachment CFL Red Zone rule kick, that's also an enforcement rule. And that part of my CFL Red Zone rule is not 4 downs. It's not 4 downs. 4-down football when you're talking about a down, it's okay. A down equals, okay, you can run the ball on a football down, okay. You could throw the ball. You can pitch the ball out. You could throw behind the line of scrimmage, have another player throw the ball downfield to the player. You could, second down, you could kick the ball. I'm talking about a down though. Like a surprise kick or whatever. You could fake it on where you're gonna, you know, kick the ball on 3rd down. You could fake it and go for it, try to get the 1st down or a touchdown. You can't do any of that with my Spiders CFL Red Zone rule kick, or my Spiders CFL Red Zone kick. Okay, and that's rewarded if playing in the red zone, my CFL Red Zone rule, enforcement rule. If the 3rd down's needed, okay, this is all in a nutshell. My Spiders CFL Red Zone rule Facebook page, all in a nutshell. If needed, you play exciting 3-down football, score a touchdown. So it's not like what happened in the Eastern Final, where the Argonauts go down on a dry drive all the way down the field, playing basically 2-down football. Get in the red zone, get on the 1-yard line, and kick an easy chip shot field goal, like a 10-yard, whatever. But maybe they were on the 2, maybe ended up in the 2 or 3, but it looked like they were on the 1-yard line. Then they did it again the 2nd time. Same thing, march all the way down, same thing, get in there, get in inside the 5, like the 1st time, and right down on the goal line, and didn't go for it. Kicked another easy chip shot field goal. That wouldn't be happening with my CFL Red Zone rule. And that's why how I come up with my rule, okay? Based on all the complaints in the survey I did, and that was a huge complaint. And it's magnified. The spotlight's put on that issue, or that big problem with our CFL 3-down game in the red zone. A spotlight's put on it. Okay, playing basically 2-down football and stopping 2nd down and on the 1-yard line. Most times they go for it on the 1-yard line, but they didn't this time. They might have been maybe two yards off. I don't know, but it does. That's what I said in my presentation. The 2nd, the 3rd, 4th, 5th yard line, they don't go for it. Right up to the 20-yard line, they don't go for it in the red zone. They kick another easy, boring, non-eventful chip shot field goal. Exactly what the Argonauts did. But with my CFL red zone rule, made part of a CFL 3-down game, which is an enforcement rule, okay, they have to play 3-down football if the 3rd down's needed. And if they maintain possession of the ball and are not forced outside the red zone on 3rd down, because they're playing with my CFL red zone rule, which is an enforcement rule, then they get rewarded with my CFL red zone kick, okay? Which is kick from the 35, you add the 7, that's a 42-yard kick. And it's an enforcement rule, they have to kick it. And that's not 4 downs, I just explained to you what a down is. I did that in several other sessions I had. It's an enforcement kick. They have to kick the CFL red zone kick. It's an enforcement rule, just like my CFL red zone rule. It's all part of my rule, okay? It's an attachment to my CFL red zone rule, the CFL red zone kick. And that's how it preserves our 3-down game, okay? It's not 4-down football. 4-down football would be if you're in the red zone and you're stopped in 3rd down and you go for a touchdown, right? Okay, in the red zone on 4th down. That's 4-down football. That's NFL football, 4-down football. This is not 4-down football, okay? This is still CFL 3-down football at its best, okay? And it'd be the most entertaining, the most innovative, the most dramatic, the most exciting brand of CFL 3-down football ever. And what a buzz it would create around our CFL 3-down game of football. If Spider's CFL red zone rule was made part of a CFL 3-down game of football. And you know what? It would be a blockbuster. It would be gigantic. What a selling feature to sell 3-down, our CFL 3-down game. And to launch it in 2022, it would be unbelievable. Super exciting. And it would generate and really attract, gravitate all the younger generation sports fans. That's mass market that the CFL is missing out on. It would they'd just reel them in, and they'd be packing CFL stadiums, and in major markets too. And you can imagine that diagram, my Spider CFL red zone rule field diagram with the 20-yard lines outlined in red and the number 20 outlined red, and the excitement that would be on a field, okay, and on TV. And with excitement in the red zone, okay, at a CFL game with Spider CFL red zone rule would be unbelievable. Unbelievable.